The village of Krasnaya Polyana lay silent under the crimson glow of the blood moon. Year 1623. The forest edge, normally a boundary between two worlds, seemed to breathe in rhythm with the night itself. That's when they heard it, a sound no villager would ever forget. It began as a human voice, a desperate call that echoed through the valley. But as the villagers gathered, the cry morphed seamlessly into something primal, a wolf's howl that carried something distinctly human within its haunting notes. By morning, the village elder discovered strange tracks at the forest edge, neither fully human nor animal. In the weeks that followed, livestock vanished. Woodsmen refused to venture beyond the village perimeter, and most telling, these disappearances occurred only when the moon swelled full. "They've returned," whispered Baba Elena, the village's oldest resident, her eyes clouded with cataracts yet seeing what others refused to acknowledge. "The Volkolak walks among us once more." What makes the Slavic werewolf legend truly chilling isn't simply the transformation from man to beast. It's the ancient belief that these creatures maintain human intelligence even in wolf form, calculating, remembering, and selecting their targets with terrifying precision. The origin of the Volkolak, the Slavic werewolf, reaches back to a warrior named Radomir, whose tale was passed through generations by village storytellers. Radomir was a celebrated hunter in a time when winter had stretched beyond its natural season. In desperation, he ventured deep into the forbidden forest, seeking game where none had dared hunt. There, in a moonlit clearing, he encountered the Leshy, the forest spirit. The Leshy offered Radomir a bargain, the power to become the ultimate predator to feed his starving village. For each transformation, the Leshy warned, "You surrender a fragment of your soul. Choose wisely how often you don the pelt." Radomir accepted. His transformation was unlike Western tales. No breaking bones or agony. He simply shifted. One moment human, the next a massive wolf with eyes that retained human awareness. He saved his village, but with each transformation, something changed within him. His human emotions dimmed while his predator instincts sharpened. When spring finally arrived, Radomir couldn't fully return to human form. Something of the wolf remained in his eyes, his gait, his increasing isolation from the very people he had saved. Unlike Western werewolves, Volkolaks weren't bound only to lunar cycles. They possessed the terrible gift of transformation at will, though the full moon made resistance nearly impossible. The Volkolak had strong connections to specific forest locations, stone circles deep within ancient woods where the veil between human and animal was thinnest. A Volkolak who transformed at these sites gained greater control, but risked permanent transformation if they lingered too long. Their human disguise had telltale signs: eyebrows that met in the center, abnormally short little fingers, and most disturbing, no matter their human form, they cast a shadow that betrayed their wolf nature. Village records tell of a traveling merchant who aroused suspicion when observed drinking from a stream. His reflection showed not a man, but a massive wolf. He was driven away before nightfall, and the forest echoed with howls until dawn. Unlike Western werewolves, who often appeared as mindless beasts, the Volkolak retained human intelligence, making them hunters who remembered slights and could plan elaborate revenge across generations. The price of transformation. The transformation extracted a terrible spiritual toll. This wasn't merely physical change, but metaphysical unmooring. Old Slavic priests documented cases describing the gradual dissolution of the human soul with each transformation. The first change left only lingering discomfort, a sense of being untethered. By the third transformation, something fundamental fractured within the spirit. A 16th century monastery manuscript details the confession of a transformed man. "I feel myself coming apart thread by thread. When the change comes, another consciousness rises within me, ancient and starving. Afterward, I remember everything my wolf self has done, but understand less of why I once found such actions abhorrent. The most heartbreaking accounts describe those caught between worlds, half-transformed Volkolaks suffering acutely, their bodies locked in partial metamorphosis, their minds fragmented between human reasoning and wolf instinct. The spiritual torment extended beyond life itself. The Orthodox Church refused burial rites to suspected Volkolaks, believing their souls already compromised beyond salvation, condemned to eternally wander the threshold between worlds. Unlike Western traditions that cast werewolves uniformly as monsters, Slavic folklore presents a more complex portrait. In remote mountain villages, tales persist of guardian Volkolaks who patrolled village boundaries during harsh winters when normal wolves grew desperate enough to attack settlements. These boundary walkers existed in spiritual pact with their communities, transformed men who sacrificed portions of their humanity to protect their kin. A village record from 1711 describes how during a brutal winter, livestock remained untouched while neighboring settlements suffered devastating losses. Villagers reported massive wolf tracks circling their perimeter exactly at the boundary line, never crossing inward. Conversely, malevolent Volkolaks represented nature's vengeance against those who violated sacred boundaries. Woodcutters who harvested ancient trees or hunters who killed pregnant animals were said to be marked by the forest itself, cursed to become the very wilderness they had disrespected. This moral complexity reflects the Slavic relationship with wilderness, not as something wholly good or evil, but as a force requiring respect and caution in equal measure. The ancient Slavs developed elaborate protections against Volkolaks, blending herbalism, symbolism, and precise ritual. Mountain ash, known as rowan, formed the cornerstone of physical protection. Village boundaries were marked with rowan trees, their red berries believed to repel creatures caught between worlds. More complex was the ritual of iron and silver. Unlike Western myths fixated on silver alone, Slavic tradition held that the combination represented the civilized and spiritual worlds, creating a barrier no transformed being could penetrate. Most intriguing were the symbolic markings. Doorways bore intricate patterns that formed complex, not work designed to confuse the Volkolak's perception. These maze patterns exploited the belief that transformed beings struggled to process certain visual complexities. Perhaps most powerful was the ritual of name binding. Slavic mythology held that speaking a Volkolak's human name during transformation could momentarily restore their humanity, a fleeting window during which the curse might be broken through specific incantations. The most chilling aspect of Slavic werewolf lore concerns what happens after death. According to the oldest beliefs, those who died as Volkolaks joined the Eternal Hunt, a supernatural army that still sweeps through forests on nights of power, the winter solstice, spring equinox, and during celestial events when barriers between worlds thin. This spectral hunting party moves like wind through trees. Their howls sound like distant human voices calling your name, a lure to draw the unwary deeper into the woods. Most disturbing is the cyclical nature of the hunt. Those taken themselves become hunters after 13 moons. The boundary between victim and predator dissolves, just as the boundary between human and wolf blurred in life. For in the deepest Slavic understanding, the Volkolak represents not transformation into something alien, but the emergence of something that always lurked within, waiting for moonlight to call it forth. Tonight, the forest beyond your window whispers with ancient voices that sound like wind through leaves. Listen more carefully. It might be your name they're calling.